Hey, my friend, what if podcasting isn't just creating content, but what if it's a practice, a discipline, stewardship? Today, I want to share about why sharing your voice isn't just about creating content. It can be almost like a spiritual practice, whether you've labeled it that way or not. So we're going to find out what exactly I mean by this. And welcome to my channel. I'm Demetria, podcast coach, producer and founder of Soul Podcasting Collective. I've been podcasting since 2005 and coaching podcasters since 2006, so over 21 years. And I'm super happy to have this channel to share with you all the ups and downs and ins and outs of podcasting. So let's get into it. So one of the things that I love to share about podcasting is that it's not just about your voice or about sound, about creating content, about being on the content creation wheel of churning out content every week or every month, however often you podcast. That will be a recipe for burnout. If you are on the hamster wheel of content creation and you don't have a why, you're not in alignment, you're not sure what you're doing, you're just kind of out there because everybody seems to have a podcast today, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, and really think about what you're doing with a podcast. What is the reason for your show? You know, podcasting is not just about that content, but it's about your expression, your perspective, and your presence. People who listen to you are listening because there are a few things that's reeling them in to your content. And part of that is your expression of who you are and what you bring to the table and why it's different than someone else's content. So your differentiation is what causes people to be drawn to your content versus anyone else's. So yes, there may be 1,000 different podcasters that are talking about exactly the thing that you've chosen to talk about on your show, but they're not bringing that content in the same way, the same style, the same fashion that you are. So always keep in mind that the way you differentiate yourself is what helps you stand out, and very likely is why you're passionate in the first place, because you know you have something valuable that's different that you're bringing to the table. So when you're podcasting, you're not just talking into a microphone for the sake of it, but you're bringing your value, your voice, your authenticity, your reality, your humanity, your perspective, your expression. And people notice that. They take notice and they hit the subscribe button and they follow you because what you have to say in the way that you're saying it is worth it to them. What you're doing is you're revealing who you are, what you notice, what you value, and what you believe matters. And that's the difference between your podcast and the next person's. Keep that in mind because it's really important as you start building out your show that you keep that confidence, that you keep showing up and knowing how you're different from your competitor. And I hate to use that word because I honestly don't believe in competing out here in the podcasting space. I think that we can all find a way to find something that we are in alignment with together, something that we all have in common, and we can find those commonalities and appreciate each other's differences. So I'm never one to look for competition, but I think it's important that you also keep in mind that there is this rat race out here. Now that podcasting is really starting to explode again, post 2026, it's really a thing now, right? And now with the onset of AI being kind of emerged into our systems and what we do in the podcasting space, there's just going to be a lot more competition. It's just, that's the way it is. There's a lot of content out there, but I think what's going to make a big difference is if you are bringing your authentic self, doing your podcasting in a way that doesn't compete with bots or with other people, but just keep showing up the way you are. And that's what people want. In an age of digital assets and content creation and AI, it's so important more than ever to really be yourself and to know your value and your purpose for why your show exists. So why do I think podcasting is a spiritual practice in this digital age when everything is out here and there's so much to contend with? Well, I think for the creator, it's spiritual, and for the listener, it's spiritual. And I'm using that word very loosely because I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality. I'm talking about really connecting human to human, soul to soul. And I think that's so important today, that we are understanding just how important it is when we're bringing our voice to the microphone. We're actually speaking into someone's life. and that's a spiritual practice, just being aware of how our words are having impact on someone else's life. So podcasting is a ritual that asks us, will we still show up when everything's quiet? When it doesn't look like we're getting the downloads we want? When listens and downloads are trickling in really slowly, especially in the beginning, will we still show up for our podcast? Will you continue to speak without instant affirmation? Sometimes you'll get that affirmation on, social media. Sometimes not, depending on how your social media plan is, right? I don't often get that feedback the way I'm looking for it on Instagram, but I get it more easily on other platforms. But again, this is all algorithm based and dependent upon what's happening out here, with the algorithms. So are you still going to show up and do your work even when things are slower than you expect? Because it does take time to grow your podcast. That's a part of the spiritual discipline of showing up to be a part of someone else's life and someone else's world. People who are pulling out their phones, listening to you in their AirPods as they're working, as they're cleaning the house, as they're driving down the street. They have created a ritual of listening to you every single week, even if they're the only person listening. So will you show up for that one person? Will you show up for 10 people, for 20 people, and then eventually 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000? That will happen, and we'll celebrate your 10,000 downloads when it happens. But from now until then, will you still show up? Will you trust that your words matter even when you cannot see the immediate impact? The spiritual nature of being willing to show up even when you don't see the impact right away is what makes you a stronger person and also helps you to figure out if this is indeed something you really want to keep doing. Now, on the business side of things, on the flip side of things, we do have to look at your ROI. What's your return on investment? Is this truly worth it for you? Is podcasting really a part of your digital ecosystem, your digital footprint? Is this creating something for you in the future for your business to expand it, to grow it, to position it for authority? You can make that determination and probably should be figuring that out before you even start your show. But as you're going through the practice of creating that podcast, there will be times when it just sometimes feels a little slow. And what people aren't going to see is your grind. They're not going to see the 10 years that it took you to get where you are, the 5 years, the 2 years, right? And so I've had 20 years to say that it is not an overnight success for many of us who are out here creating this type of content on a daily, weekly basis, especially those of us who have chosen niches that are not super popular, right? So I chose a homeschool niche. I chose a mom's working from home niche back in the day. I've chosen Christian women niches. I've chosen these types of brands and niches that are not necessarily geared toward or positioned toward the immediate attraction of the audience I'm looking for to the content that I provide, and especially in the space of making money with that. And so over the years, I've learned how to monetize my shows, but it took a long time for me to kind of get a handle on how to do that. And so I'm saying with 2 decades of experience that this is a long game. It can be, doesn't have to be as long as it took me, but it can be long. And so I want to encourage you to really dig deep within and evaluate your heart and your space and where you are to see if this is something you really want to invest in. You might be thinking, okay, Demetria, that's a little much comparing podcasting to spiritual practices. While that might be somewhat overreach, I do think it's a great analogy because it does really show the importance of making sure we know what we're doing when we're podcasting and to know how important it is to not just show up one time and leave, which we call pod fading, but to keep showing up and keep providing and not get discouraged along the journey because it is not an overnight quick fix for your business. So I want to just put that out there and then hope that you'll find ways that you connect with your show and with your audience and start to grow on that and expound on that with time. I'd love to hear what things you're doing to grow your show and how it feels like a spiritual practice for you. Is it a meditative thing? Is it something you do to connect with other humans around the world and have wonderful conversations with people that you've never met before on your show? Or are you using it as a place to reflect and just sort of journal your thoughts? How are you podcasting, and how does your routine and ritual work for you? I'd love to hear about your podcasting routine. So I'd love to invite you to leave a comment below on this video and share with me what you're up to. Also, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Soul Podcasting. And just know that if podcasting feels heavy sometimes, that's normal. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means you're doing it honestly. I invite you to stick around and watch my next video, which is one that I think is more practical and will help you figure out your podcast intro so that you can hook your audience. Also, be sure to subscribe to my podcast if you want to podcast with clarity and soul. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.